Hi,
Hi, Anna.
how are you?
Good, good, good. I'm David from MAACcinema.com.
Nice to
And
meet
we got here today the star of Blade of 47 Ronin, Anna Akana.
you. Yes. Thank you for representing in your background. Appreciate it.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Well, to start off, I do want to, for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your career as a YouTuber and your transition into being an actress?
Well, I started at the same time. So my background is in stand-up comedy. So I started doing stand-up when I was 19 years old. And I'd been doing stand-up for a couple of years when I would transition to also acting. So I was going out for auditions and I was writing and trying to figure out like exactly where I could land. And even just, I've been in the business for 13 years and representation for Asian Americans and opportunities for this vertical have changed so much in that time. And I actually started doing YouTube because of my frustration with stand up and acting and the limited opportunities available to me. And when you did get an opportunity, it would be for an audition for a massage therapist who would give someone a happy ending, or
Oh,
you have an accident, or you were upset that you got a B grade. And so, as much as I loved acting and wanted to pursue it as my dream, I was like, is this my dream to play these horrifically racist like bit parts and things?
right.
So I started doing YouTube as a way to control the narrative and to paint myself in the kind of characters that I wanted to be and that I wanted to see, and to also give myself some digital leverage to get into rooms for certain casting directors. Because at the time there weren't as many parts that you could just audition for, depending on it didn't matter what race you were. So usually at that time I was only going out for Asian specific roles.
Cool, cool. I mean, that's what's great about YouTube, how you get to create your own platform, have your own audience
Absolutely.
for sure. So before taking on your role as Luna, were you familiar with the original film starring Keanu Reeves?
I had watched it and forgotten about it ages ago. I wasn't really the main demographic for it, but I love Keanu Reeves, so I did watch it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it didn't do too well at the box office, so I don't think a lot of people remember it. So you're not the
Yeah,
only one. So,
yeah,
but
but
I mean, after this film coming out, I mean, I think a lot of people will go back and revisit that film as well. So.
yeah, hopefully. I mean, Rinko Kikuchi's amazing in it.
Hmm. So, how cool was it to work on this project with pretty much the whole cast is Asian American? I mean, how cool is that? How awesome is that?
It's pretty amazing. I've been very fortunate. The few movies that I've been the lead of have been Asian American, predominantly like mostly Asian cast, which if you had told me that even just like 5, 6 years ago, I would have been a little skeptical. But this movie in particular was so special because it was an all Asian cast against a European backdrop. So we were all in Budapest, Hungary, and there's just like gorgeous architecture all over the place that's so distinctly European. And so to have like fight scenes in these cities and to have like regular walk and talk scenes in a city, it's just not something that I ever really imagined together. And so it was very special.
Oh wow! I mean, I was talking to Cliff earlier. He said, you and Yoshi go way back, and how cool is it to like go full circle and be in a big film like this together?
It was pretty amazing. I mean, Yoshi and I met on 90210 doing background. I believe it was like a winter formal scene. And they were like, oh, there's got to be like two Asians who are together. So we were paired up as the couple in the background dancing. And we've stayed friends over the years and have continually cheered each other on throughout our careers. And so it's been wonderful to be like, wow, 13 years later, and here we are, like on a movie together with an all Asian cast set in Europe. How fucking amazing! Oh, sorry to cuss, but
No
how
problem.
amazing is that? It really was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and it's cool. Like both of your characters are prominent in the films, not just side Asian characters. So that's cool.
Yeah, Yoshi's got, I think, one of the funnest scenes in the whole film. I don't want to spoil it, but him and Dustin have a little fight scene, and it gets the biggest laugh every time.
Well, speaking of Dustin, I mean, I want to ask you about your experience with working with these action legends, Mark DeCosco and Dustin Nguyen.
I mean, they're just the sweetest men. Like truly, like we were joking that everyone on set just had mega dad energy because it was just sometimes when there's not as many women on set or there's not as many women in the cast, there can be a sense of everyone's kind of falling into like locker room talk or being a little weird, and I'm not super comfortable with this, but they were all just like protective dad, I got you energy. Dustin and Mark and Mike Moe in particular, who are all fathers, were very sweet and caring, and we're always like, are you okay? You got everything you need? Do you need a water? Like, they reminded me of like cool dad energy at the party. But Mark in particular gave me a lot of advice on my career, which I really appreciated. He's a legend. He's been in this industry, he's a titan in this industry for so long. And so he really took me aside and like imparted his wisdom to me and took me under his wing. And I really loved that. And it was like such an honor to get to talk to him and to learn from him.
I love that line you said to him in the film about him being a fan of John Wick.
Yeah. Thank you.
Was that your idea? Was that part of the script, or what did you add?
No, we improved a lot. I mean, I believe that specific line is something that Ron actually pitched.
Uh-huh.
But for a lot of the scenes, we would just improvise, or we would write like alternative jokes based on what we were experiencing in the moment. So that one was a fun one. We tried to do a little, tongue in cheek to the audience.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely. I mean, the whole film. I mean, I love the combination of action and comedy, especially with you. With a lot of the comedy in there. So it's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you.
So I know you had a bit of action experience on Netflix, Jupiter's Legacy.
Mhm.
But so how much did you have to train for this project as far as the action is concerned?
Yeah, this project we did 2 or 3 weeks of training, 5 hours every day. And it would start off with a weightlifting regimen, like an hour of weightlifting, and then you would stretch for 15 minutes. And then we would go into rehearsals and start learning the beats for our scenes. Unfortunately, most of my fight scenes were cut from the final product. So I'm like, I learned a lot, which is great. And I did a lot of work, but it's always like a bummer when you're like, oh, it's not, no one's gonna ever see that.
Oh no! So did you actually film a lot of the fights, but then they cut it out?
Yeah, because it
Oh.
makes sense for the story. Luna's the fish out of water. She wouldn't be as
Mhm.
good at fighting as these people who are, descended from samurai and have been doing this their whole life. So from a story perspective, it did make sense. But as an actor, I was very bummed.
Was there is it on the DVD by any chance?
I don't think so. I think they just in the edit room, they just threw it in the trash.
Oh man. Well, I mean, you're in the finale fight, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was great.
So, being in, this action martial arts film, what would you say is your favorite, martial arts movie?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know if it qualifies as a martial arts movie, but I loved Scott Pilgrim.
Oh,
Something about
yeah.
like the gamification of Scott Pilgrim. I loved like Ellen Wong's character, Knives Chow. I remember watching Scott Pilgrim before I was ever in the business, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to go in the business. Just Edgar Wright, especially early Edgar Wright, the way he'd edit stuff, the way he'd storytell, things especially based on graphic novels, I found really intriguing, and I loved so much of like the combo of music and action in Scott Pilgrim. So I would say probably that one.
Awesome, awesome. So, we got one fan question here from a fan named Derek. He's asking if who is your favorite superhero as far
Ooh,
as because I think you're into a lot of pop culture stuff too, so that's why we're gonna ask you who's your super favorite. I
yeah.
mean, you can't say Ant-Man though, since you're in that film.
It's myself. No, I think well, it used to be Batman, and then as I aged, I was like, Batman needs to go to therapy. Like, he is a billionaire who's utilizing his resources to fight petty crime. This man sucks. So I abandoned Batman. My favorite superhero? Oh, that's hard. Actually, I think it's Silk. Silk
Oh,
was bit by the same spider as Peter Parker, but she's been in a bunker forever. I like love reading the comic books about her, and I can't wait. I hear they're developing a show with her at Disney, so I'm a big Silk fan.
yeah. There's news that came out today that that Silk series will be on Amazon Prime.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, how fun!
So, I mean, I don't think they filmed yet. Maybe, you have, get in on it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be like, excuse me, where's my audition?
Right. Okay. Well, Anna, do you have any other upcoming projects you'd like to share with us?
Unfortunately, everything that I'm involved in right now, I'm not allowed to talk about. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, we got, Blade of the 47 Ronin on Netflix now, so fans can go see
Yes.
that. So,
Please go watch, stream.
all right, Anna. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope fans watch stream as much as they can, so maybe we get another sequel going.
Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Anna.